Today is March 17th, 2023. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and welcome to the Yacht Club show. My name is Mike Kelly, and we had a big show planned for today's recording session with myself, Dave, and Jim. But Jim was exposed to COVID earlier in the week, and as a precaution, we have decided to postpone our full team recording session. But because today is St. Patrick's Day, and I didn't want the day to get by without recognizing St. Patrick's Day in all its glory, today I am going to be joined by the Yacht Club show's favorite Irishman, Joe O'Connor, to share some Detroit St. Patrick's Day memories. But first, let's play an Irish song.
There's a tear in your eye, and I'm wondering why, for it never should be there at all. With such power in your smile, sure a stone you'd beguile, so there's never a teardrop should fall. When your sweet lilting laughter's like some fairy song, and your eyes twinkle bright as can be, you should laugh all the while, and all other times smile, and now smile a smile for me. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, Joe. Top of the morning.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to you too, Mike. It's grand to be Irish.
It sure is. Good day for everyone to be Irish. You and I talked last night that we've had to postpone our Yacht Club show recording for this episode, but I wanted to preserve our tradition of trying to have something around St. Patrick's Day, and you're the first person I thought of. So thank you for being so gracious to join me this morning.
Thank you for inviting me. You're thinking of me.
I figured, if anyone would have some good St. Patrick's Day stories, words of Irish wisdom, it'd be you, Joe.
I'm not so sure about the wisdom, but I do have some stories.
So I'm going to turn things over to you, and please share what you'd like.
Okay. Well, coming from, parents that were both Irish, ever since I can remember, we would, St. Patrick's Day was always a special day. It made being Irish seem special. Like we say on St. Patrick's Day, everybody's Irish, but certainly the Irish celebrate it. So it was always, a day that we would at least get together with our cousins, the Flanagans and the other O'Connors and the Blakes. And we would, even as kids, just get together and the parents would have a few drinks. Then as I got older, into my 20s, I married into a family called the Brady's. And I thought I was Irish until I met them. And they really celebrated. They didn't just celebrate the day, they celebrated the week, starting with the St. Patrick's Day parade, and we would march in the parade, and Knights of Columbus Hall was always a big, the Monahan was always, they'd have a big crowd. I think they still do, on the day of the parade and on St. Patrick's Day, and all the Irish dancers. And we would start with them, we'd start at, on St. Patrick's Day, we'd go to Mass at Holy Trinity, and all the politicians would be there, and that's where, Father Kern, he was the pastor at Holy Trinity for so long, and he did a lot of work with the poor, and it was a great day for them to raise money and great recognition. And then we'd spend the day to start, and at least on Michigan Avenue, and go to all the Irish places by the old Tiger Stadium, the Gaelic League, and the Lager House, and, Nancy Whiskies, and, you'd work your way out to the Monahan.
You guys are really serious about this.
Oh yeah, it was great fun.
You mentioned the politicians at church there. They probably had either stopped by J.P. McCarthy's annual Irish show, or they're on their way there.
Yeah, right, exactly. And again, I've mentioned years when we've had some podcasts about my old mentor, Hugh McInerney. He and J.P. were great friends.
Yeah,
you could always turn on JP's party, and Hugh would be on there being interviewed.
Yeah, on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I turned on WJR this morning, and Paul W. Smith still has that party in the Fisher Building, and but it's for me, it's not quite the same. Anyways, it's nice that he's carrying that tradition on. It is.
Yeah,
it sure is.
So then, a little later in my life, where I used to, when at work, I'd get together. It started with a friend of mine, a car dealer friend, Steve Rogers, and my friend Russ Maronisi, who worked with me. We said, Steve says, I want to go spend the St. Patrick's Day with you, So he and Russ and I would start. My shop was over in Ferndale, and we'd start at Rosie O'Grady's over there off of Woodward Avenue in 9 Mile. And then we'd work our way downtown, and then we'd work our way over to the old Shillelagh and drop Steve off over at Grosse Pointe. And so then our group grew as time went on for a few years, and we got about, we probably have half a dozen guys, and we rented one of those party buses, and it had its own bathroom, which was very
convenient
with our group, yeah. And so we'd make our way all around, and it was a great time. And then I'd end up out at my brother John and Monica's. They'd have a house party, and then with all the kids there, and it was real nice. And then when I started, we had kids. We'd march in the parade. One year I had a van that we painted all green and put all different timely accessories on it, and we drove in the parade, and the kids just had a ball. And
I know it's been a great tradition with your family, and that St. Patrick's Day parade is very special to you, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Well, when you make that turn onto Michigan Avenue, you line up over there by the lodge, by the electrical worker hall, and at that point, Michigan Avenue is on an incline going up towards the old ballpark, and all you would see just see this sea of green on each side, just all, like the old.
That's fantastic.
Green,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I couldn't speak of St. Patrick's Day without talking about my mom and dad and Teresa and Tom Flanagan.
That's for sure.
A great legacy, yeah. And Larry Brady, my old father-in-law, who was just a terrific Irishman. He'd be a guy that I spent a lot of time with, and he'd tell stories, and on occasion he'd tell the same story more than once, but I could listen to him all day long. So
he had that knack. He had that knack of being able to embellish it a little bit differently each time, right?
Yeah, he was a great storyteller.
Yeah. You mentioned Larry Brady and the Brady family. For those maybe unfamiliar, they've owned and operated a series of restaurants in the Detroit area. In fact, Carol, my wife, and you and your wife, Tammy, and Kelly and Dennis, we were recently at Brady's in Royal Oak.
Over in Royal Oak, and it's Tom Jr., and his grandfather was Jim Brady, who was Larry Brady's brother, and he started with Diamond Jim Brady's over in 7 Mile Greenfield, and there's a picture on the wall, a big picture of the whole wall, and it's the old bar, and his grandfather sitting at the bar, and his dad's leaning over the bar serving somebody. It's
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really.
They really blew it up. It covers the wall. It's really neat to see. Yeah.
But anyways, those are really the thoughts I have, Mike. It's things change, but it's still a great day.
It's still a great day. Yeah, it's wonderful to listen to you talk about your Detroit memories on St. Patrick's Day. There's a fair amount of Irish, right, in this area. I mean, Corktown, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's Irish.
Sure. That's
I mean, you hear about Chicago and their Irish community, but I think that in Detroit, at least Irish tradition would rival Chicago pretty fairly, I would think.
Yeah. Well, I know Chicago's a great experience, but the part of the appeal here for me, anyways, you'd run into people you hadn't seen in some time, at least since the last holiday.
Sure.
And, so it's good to run into old friends and just to say hello and catch up for a minute.
Yeah, Detroit's a small big town or a big small town. I don't know how best to describe it, but
right, exactly.
It's just there's real community here, and it's probably never felt more. You could never experience more than on St. Patrick's Day. And again, it goes back to the parades. The J.P. McCarthy, I guess he started in the Fisher Building. He moved to the Fox Theater lobby, but it sounds like Paul W.'s brought it back to the Fisher Building, which is where it all started. Yeah, and like you said, you mentioned at Mass all the politicians. I mean, JP would have every and all local celebrity really covering the state of Michigan, and it was a must-attend event. So I think that really kind of helped establish Detroit St. Patrick's Day and in the hearts of people maybe from outside this area. Like grew up in Toledo and always made it a point to listen to JP's show. It really established Detroit as kind of a focal point on St. Patrick's Day. But like you said, the parade, so many other wonderful traditions, Irish pubs and restaurants, and the list goes on. There's quite an Irish story in Detroit.
Yeah, there certainly is. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Well, thanks for including me in your show, Mike. I really appreciate it.
No, I was looking forward to hearing you about your St. Patrick's Day experiences, and it just gives me some of that Irish warmth.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right, Mike.
All right, Joe. Slancha.
All right.
Yep.
Take care, buddy.
Yep. You too. Bye-bye.
Oh, all the money I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. I had money enough to spend and leisure time to sit a while, there is a fair maid in this town that sorely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheeks and ruby lips, I own she has my heart in thrall. Then fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. And all the sweethearts there I had, they wished me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be with you all. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be with you all.
Well, that's it. Thanks for humoring me as we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Catch you later. Aaron Gobra. The music featured in today's show is all part of the public domain and found on the Internet Archive. The Irish Washerwoman was by the Irish All-Stars. When Irish Eyes Are Smiling by Brigham Phillips. And The Parting Glass by Ideen O'Brien.